Typically made with a lot of crab that's abundant in Vietnam, these spring rolls or Nem Cua Be are packed with deliciousness and have a typical square shape. It's dipped Nuoc Cham, a traditional dipping sauce, and enjoyed. Soak some wood ear or black fungus mushrooms overnight. 30 to 40 grams should be enough and it'll grow overnight. Salt some water, and when it comes to the boil, I'm going to add a beautiful 1.5 pound Dungeness crab. And I'm going to cook it according to its weight, which is about 13 to 15 minutes. Feel free to use canned or frozen if you like, but fresh is always best. I've tried to keep this recipe as authentic as possible, but we'll talk about some things that I've had to change along the way. The white stuff you see is coagulated proteins. This comes from the crab meat, blood, and natural juices as they leak out, and the heat makes them clump together, forming foam. Just remove it. Once the crab is cooked, remove it, allow it to cool, and don't throw away the water. The crab is now cool, so I'm going to start to take it apart. Cut off the elastics. The pointed apron here means that it's male. If it's more rounded, it's female. Pull it. Also remove the mouth and internal organs. Pry off the top shell. Sometimes if you're lucky, you will get some orange or yellow roe or tamale. I don't have such luck today, but if you do, just keep it aside. Remove the gills, also known as the dead man's fingers. These are feathery, gray, spongy pieces on both sides of the body. Just pull them out and discard. Now I'm just going to pull apart the legs and break the body in half. I'm just going to admit this now, while taping this video, the crab sat along longer than it should have, and it is a little overcooked. This will make it a bit more difficult to remove the meat. Working on the body, I will fish out all the meat and keep it aside. Again, if this crab was just about cooked, this meat would come out a lot more easily. For the claw, just bang the outside with a rolling pin and then remove the meat. Again, if this crab was just about cooked, this meat would come out a lot more easily. For the legs, use a rolling pin to squeeze out the meat. Add all the shells and the leftover veg back into the water and turn it into a delicious crab stock to use later. Now to make the filling. In a large bowl, add 500 grams of ground chicken. Typically, pork or a mixture of pork and chicken mince is used. I'm also going to add 120 grams of raw, roughly chopped shrimp. I have the crab here, but I'm not going to add it into the mix, as they do with most traditional recipes, and I'll tell you why later. Now I'm going to add 120 grams of sliced wood ear or black fungus mushrooms. I soaked these overnight. I cut them into thin strips, and I'm going to add this in together with 50 grams of julienne of carrots. I also have 50 grams of bean sprouts. I just cut this into shorter lengths. And 50 grams of bean noodles. I soaked these in warm water and I cut them into 2 to 3 inch lengths. Now add 60 grams of sliced spring onions. I've used the bulbs as well as the leaves. 2 tablespoons of mushroom stock powder. 1 teaspoon of fresh cracked pepper. And 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. If you have the reserved crab tamale, add it in now. Finally, I will add in 2 egg yolks. I like using egg yolks as it gives you a richer filling, but you can also add a whole egg if you prefer. Finally, add in half a cup of chopped coriander and mix this well together. Typically in Vietnam, they will use less chicken, more crab and shrimp. But since it's so expensive here in Toronto, I added more chicken instead. The reason I don't like to mix the crab in is because I don't want it to get lost with all of the other flavors. If you look at traditional recipes, they use a thinner rice paper that we cannot find here, and so I will be using the standard rice paper and I will soak it briefly like I do with the other rice paper wrap recipes. The thinner rice paper does not need to be soaked, but these ones do. Soak these in barely warm or room temp water for a few seconds until they get a bit softer, and then place it on your board and dab the excess moisture off. I love Thai basil, so I will place one leaf in the middle of the circle. I could have chopped this and added it to the filling, but it would overpower all the other flavors. Now you can add the filling freehand if you like, but I find that I get very inconsistent results. I have this square glass bowl that's 8 by 8 centimeters and it just happens to be perfect for this. You can also use a square ring mold. I don't want the filling to go all the way to the top as I think it's a bit too deep, so I'm going to fill it till it's about a centimeter high and I'm going to pack it down. I will add some crab to the top. This way when you take a bite, you will taste the crab in its purest form. Overturn this and there you have the perfect square. These rolls need a double layer, so fold over the filling, keep aside and then soak another wrapper. Do the same thing, soak, place on board, dab extra moisture, and add the first package on top of the sheet. I like to fold it the opposite way this time so the folds are on both sides, making the roll nice and sturdy. If you're using the thin rice paper that does not need to be soaked, you will just need to seal the package with some egg white. Look at this perfect square. I will line these on a tray lined with parchment paper and make sure they do not stick together or they will tear. Don't leave these rolls too long on the wooden board as they can stick to the board as well. Heat some oil and when the oil is hot, insert the rolls into the hot oil. Do not overcrowd your pan. Watch these carefully and make sure they do not touch each other. Don't flip them unless they have hardened on the bottom. As these cook, the rice paper will bubble and get nice and crispy. Remember, elements of your filling are raw, so reduce the heat and cook it for about 10 to 15 minutes. And remove on some kitchen towel. You could also cook this on higher heat, allow the outside to blister and turn golden brown, and cook for 15 minutes in the oven to ensure that the filling is fully cooked, especially when you're making larger batches. Can you air fry this? Yes, you can, but air fryers tend to be limiting because of the size. I'd rather cook them in a tray in the oven. It's super crispy and served with Nuoc Cham, a traditional dipping sauce made with fish sauce, sugar, lime, water, garlic, and chili. It's also served with noodles and lettuce. The spring roll wrapped in lettuce leaf is unreal. Enjoy.